Hello, beloved Libras. This is Molly from Soul School Spiritual Guidance and Healing. I hope that you guys are all doing well. I'm just getting some cards shuffled up. I had several decks that wanted to speak to you today. We have the Revelations Tarot, Line Strider, and the Tarot Crystal Gemstones are going to come out later, as well as the Rose Oracle. Those are just the decks that wanted to talk to you guys today, Libra. So thank you very much for being here. I do have a bit of a channeled message that I'm going to share with you while I'm shuffling up these decks. But the first thing I want to let you guys know is how much I appreciate you being here on my channel. I also want to let you know my readings are timeless. They are collective. I'm going to talk a little bit about astrology today. But if you're not finding this video within the window of dates that I'm talking about, I really go ahead and disregard that. I feel like the Emperor is talking to us, and that really, really locks in with the channeled message I've been receiving. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down and let you guys know what it is that's coming through. By the way, one final disclaimer: your free will is going to be the most powerful predictor of your future. So I'm not here to tell you your future so much as maybe to talk about some of the energies that you might be confronted with over the next couple of months. So here's what I'm thinking, Libra. If you are a Libra who has sun, moon, rising, for some reason I do feel like Venus, Jupiter, Saturn. Even if you've got, like, I know I've got Pluto in Libra, it's probably like midway through Libra, so this is not going to apply to me nearly as much, though it will at some point in time. Let me stop rambling and tell you guys what's up. Libra, the sign of Libra is absolutely empty right now, okay? But we have a major player, Saturn, has just moved into Aries. So, and let me go ahead and read to you. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I've got a little note on my other phone. Saturn entered Aries on May 24th, and it's going to retrograde back into Pisces on September 1st. So if you have any placements in, I want to say like the first 5 to 10 degrees of Libra, you're really going to be feeling this, okay? This tug, this Saturn placement in Aries, all right? It's going to re-enter Aries on February 13th, 2026. So, again, if you've got placements in those first 5 or 10 degrees, understand that what you're coming up against is going to be something that if you don't deal with the energy right away, it's going to be present and tugging at you all the way through the beginning of next year. All right. I am currently recording this on July 5th, 2025. So that might give you guys some context. Okay. This transit, like basically Saturn's going to stay in Aries until April 12th, 2028. So this message that I'm delivering today is somehow related to that, okay? Whenever we have Saturn showing up in our transits, that's typically a sign that this is a karmic lesson, something that at some point in your life, hopefully you will deal with it, but right now you're being given an opportunity to, all right? So the Emperor is somebody who is, wow, okay. First of all, he knows he is the boss. He does not give his power away. He stands in his power. He is aware of his power. He enforces boundaries around that power. Okay, he is very much the authority of his own life. This is the invitation that you guys are being granted, okay? I will let you know also that the Emperor is associated with the sign of Aries, which the reason we're talking about this is Aries is the opposite sign of Libra in the zodiac wheel. And what that means to me is that you're going to be having Saturn in opposition to any placements you have in the sign of Libra, all right? Because you are Libra, Very much a sign associated with Venus and love. I do want to pull something from the Rose Oracle. I feel like this is going to be some sort of like reassurance that comes through, because you might be thinking to yourself, ooh, I don't want to have to deal with a karmic lesson right now. But let's see what the Rose Oracle has to say. The crowning and Mother Rose, okay? This idea of the crowning, basically to me what it means is you have an opportunity to overcome probably a long-standing karmic lesson about you appointing yourself the authority of your life, okay? Knowing your power, placing that crown firmly upon your head and not letting anybody else shake it, okay? I feel almost like, and this isn't going to be for everybody, okay? But the energy that I'm feeling is, I feel like I'm talking to a Libra collective that's just pretty laid back. Okay, you're probably willing to go with the flow in most scenarios, even if in the back of your mind you're like, this is not the way that this should be going, right? You are like water, Libra, in a lot of situations, okay? What I'm feeling is the emergence of another energy that is very big, very loud, takes up a lot of space, which Libra is not always comfortable doing because it might not be popular with everyone, okay? So this is an energy that comes onto the scene and I think presents you with experiences that are going to have you challenge within yourself your own sense of authority. Like, who am I? You're you, Libra. Like, you're the authority of your life, okay? Mother Rose shows returning to each other compassion and humanity, all right? You're not at all being asked to compromise these aspects of your personality, compassion and humanity. In fact, what you're being invited to do is to create some boundaries that allow you to defend compassion and humanity with strength. Okay, I know there's not a lot visually going on here. There's some very subtle images, but I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that that was there for you. All right. Let's see what's under the Emperor here. We have a Nine of Pentacles. You're being invited to stand on your own in your own authority. The long white robes here really remind me of the Justice card, which is also associated with the sign of Libra, okay? And I think what's coming out here is saying, look, especially in leadership positions, Libra, should you choose to accept one, because it can be it can put you in an unpopular or a difficult position to be in a position of leadership, right? But you have the ability to be a very, very fair and just leader, okay? For a lot of you, this has a lot to do with your workplace. For some of you, it might have to do with other situations in which you are placed in a position that invites you to take authority, okay? I really feel like there's a lot of situations that you find yourself in where you could demand authority or step into a leadership position, but the tendency to not make waves is kind of what's preventing you from doing that. I also feel that as soon as these big, loud, take up a lot of space, I almost want to say the word obnoxious, power-seeking energies show up in your scene, your way of dealing with that is typically just to steer clear. Okay? And I think that this is the exact karmic lesson that you are being invited to work out at this time. Okay? I think that you have a very strong intuition. Ooh, okay. So when I get a good run, I'll usually follow it until I run into something that just doesn't feel like it's a part of the message. So Seven of Pentacles means that you have the ability, like as an air sign, you have the ability to look at a situation objectively and assess what it really needs. In addition to that, you have this overflowing empathy. All right, you guys, this blue is coming out really tremendously. It's associated with the throat chakra. Okay, so you have a very deep empathy, compassion, intuition for what everybody is going through. In other words, let's say that you walked into a brand new situation. Maybe you're like a manager at a new office or something like that. And you come in, you can look at the situation objectively and at the same time have insight into how that system makes each person in it feel. And that's beautiful. That's really, 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 really powerful. Okay. So Libra, you are being invited. If this is not related to work or some other organization that you're a part of, I would be pretty surprised. Okay. I would be pretty surprised. Okay. At the very least, Saturn has a lot to say about about our standing in society. And specifically, I feel like there is a restricting mindset that keeps you from stepping into positions of power. And I think, so, okay. So Libra, don't imagine what would happen if I made everybody mad. Imagine what would happen if I were truly able to apply my intuition, my compassion, my objective reasoning, and my fairness to the situation. Okay? So don't focus on the fears of what can go wrong. Focus on how amazing you would be, or how amazing your situation would be if everything went right. Okay, so what's coming through right now is, if this does not have to do with work, this has to do with your boundaries. There's somebody in your life, like, I feel like it's a very gaslighting situation. Every time you get in an argument with them, they're just louder. They're not more right. They're just louder, okay? And they may even gaslight you because you're so good at seeing things from different situations. They may even somehow talk you out of believing in the injustices that you're seeing. Oh, Temperance. Look at this. We've got Temperance. We've got the Sun reverse, which I'm going to show you guys close up, and an Ace of Wands. All right. So here's what this particular sequence is telling me. You come to a realization that either in your relationship, in your workplace, in your home, for some of you, might be somebody that is depending on you for resources. Somebody who's not standing on their own 2 feet, and so they're turning to you for resources. In that situation, you are the authority of when you part with those resources, and bringing in some boundaries might be a really good idea. Okay, anyways, this Ace of Wands, it's a very clever fox. And I did not see it at first, right? So there's a clever fox hiding right underneath your nose. This may very well be, it's like just a loud, boisterous, very hard to miss energy that has entered into this situation. But underneath the surface, it's almost like the reason why there's so much on the surface, personality-wise, is because that's how they hide what they're really thinking underneath the surface. All right. So this Ace of Wands to me represents just a discovery. A sudden spark goes off, a light bulb, and it's like, oh my gosh, this person is a clever fox. They're not just a cute little puppy or kitty cat that's been coming through my yard for snacks. This is a clever fox, and I have to guard my chickens from him. I don't know what chickens is just what came through, because the Sun reverse is a non-truth. It is a reality that is being presented to you as something that it is not. Okay, I'm just gonna call this a great big lie. All right. But I also feel like part of what the great big lie is one that you're telling yourself that it's not your place to step up okay, to seize power in this situation. But it's very much your place. At the very least, I think that what is happening, somehow these two cards are working together. Like whenever you have temperance, I don't know if you can, let me look at this. I don't see two cups. All right. Typically this angel is holding two cups and they're like pouring the things back and forth because they want to, I don't know, like two things are coming together, but they're coming together very gradually and very slowly because otherwise it could be like highly combustive. All right. So your realization of the situation and your realization of this bigger truth that was not being told correctly, I hope that helps you. Whatever this sun is and whatever this realization is, maybe you were seeing things incorrectly before. You're being asked to integrate, okay, the two sides of your experience, either with this person or with this recurring situation. All right. Temper the two sides of it. Okay. There's this one side of it where you're logically and rationally very much justified in stepping up and taking authority in this situation, in having boundaries. You're very much justified in that. There's this other part of you that's like, ooh, how's that going to make people feel? Or even, how is that going to make me feel? All right. Sit with those two things. Continue pouring the one into the other because the answer is not going to come through like right away. Like, oh my gosh, there's an obvious solution to this. Okay. But the solution comes through when you learn to temper these two perspectives, experiences, or sides of yourself. Okay. So I'm going to leave you guys with a tarot of crystals and gemstones just to see what kind of energy can you turn to at this time. Okay. Ooh, all right. That is strength reversed. That's onyx. Okay. So, whoa, what happened here? Sorry, you guys. I wasn't paying attention. What? We've got purpurite. Look at this. This is the emperor. That's the guy that came out in the beginning. Hold on a second. Let me get these together. Sorry, you guys. Yes, to me, this reinforces the need for boundaries. Okay? Know who you are. Know your strength. Stand firm in your own sense of justice and what is fair and what is right. Do not let anybody loud and big and obnoxious, don't let anybody talk you out of that just because they're louder than you. Okay, you guys? I'm going to have to wrap this up because my memory space is running out. But onyx reverse, this is strength reversed, okay? Black crystals are going to help you guard your energy body. I feel like that's an exceptionally important message for you guys. If you like the reading, definitely leave a like, leave a comment if you feel like it resonated with you. And most of all, thank you guys for being here today. I love you very much, Libra, and I'll see you real soon.